What is going on, my necessary Necessians? I am Hadix Gaming and I am back with yet another necessity. A video on how you can sneak past those tricky little traps and plunder the sweet loot behind those treasure chambers. So, jumping right in, I'll be going over how to find the loot dungeons, how to bypass and navigate the traps, and why you would want to risk countless deaths trying to get what is behind those pesky locked doors. Finding these dungeons or chambers can be a little tricky, as they have a small % chance to replace a treasure room with a treasure chamber. So instead of finding a chest, you'll find a staircase that leads down to these treacherous places. They can be found in forest, plains, swamps, snow, and desert islands in both the regular caves and the deep variants of the caves. Keep in mind, it is just a small chance, and currently as of update 0.21.29, there are only 2 types of treasure chambers. We have the first type, the pressure plate chamber, aka the floor is lava room, where if you step on the wrong pressure plate, let's just say you're kinda toast. And the second type is a gauntlet run, where if you stop to think, it may just be the last thought you get. Keep in mind that whilst you are inside of these chambers, you cannot heal by any means. No potions, no health regen, and the only thing is the exception of the lifeline and any combination trinket that includes. The damage you obtain from these traps are done on a percentage, so keep in mind that even if you have extra health, you will still die in roughly the same amount of hits. All risks aside, you've entered your first chamber and you're wondering how to unlock these 4 doors. To do so, you will need to correctly traverse over each of these floors without stepping on the wrong pressure plate. Now, to find out what path you need to take across these pressure plates, you need to step onto the single plate in front of the candelabra. It will show you in the lights where to step with each tile that corresponds to the pressure plate. Once you open 2 doors on each side, you will unlock the side rooms. Complete all 4 puzzles and pull all 6 levers in the room. You'll now get access to twice the loot, and in future updates, there'll even be some unique juicy items. Oh, also don't forget to mine the coin stacks with a pickaxe for a hefty amount of coins. With chamber type 1 out of the way, let's jump into the second type of chamber. These can be much more trickier and a lot more lethal. Just like the other chambers, these can be found randomly in place of regular treasure rooms. These rooms, however, are a little more unforgiving. I would recommend bringing in some recall scrolls or a way to teleport out, because if you get stuck between some rocks in a sharp place, it could be GG's and you'll be making a return trip to collect your items. These chambers are divided into 4 quarters, so let's go with quarter number 1, the bottom left path, which is where you'll be starting your run. Now, all 4 parts of this are more skill-based rather than memory, brain, strength, or luck. It's skill and timing, so if you've got those down, this should be a breeze. Part 1, the bottom left, is the dart room. Simply stand in the squares that are outlined, as they are safe spots. Be cautious when you get to this part, as there is a dart that will fire the entire way through, potentially catching you off guard and ending your run. Following that is a spike trap, which is fairly easy to navigate. Just walk between the spikes and you should make it to the other side. Once at the other side, pull the lever and you'll have completed checkpoint number 1. Head to the surface, heal up, and then return back down, as you won't be able to heal once you're inside the chambers. With part 1 out of the way, part 2 will have you avoiding spiky discs and a spike room. Just follow the path I take here and you should be good to go for the discs. Simply walk out of the way of the spikes and hide in the safe zones. Once you're past the spiky discs, the spikes is where your fine motor skills come into play. You'll need to zigzag 1 across and 1 up or down to get to the end, as the spikes and darts alternate rows and columns. When one set goes off, the other set rests. When the other set goes off, the other set rests. So you will just need to alternate 1 by 1 until you make it to the end. Once at the end though, don't stand in the open, and make sure you're behind a pillar, as the 2 darts on the right will go the entire length across and possibly catch you off guard and kill you. Once again, make it to the lever, pull that lever, and you've successfully gotten halfway there with 2 checkpoints left. Part 3 is probably the most difficult section to pass and will probably be the hardest for most people. This section's best done with a dash ability, as that will limit you getting hit only once as you zip through this area. However, you can see me in the background here walk through it perfectly timed without taking any damage, so it is possible. Next, you're faced with a lethal maze with traps in it as well. Not only if you take the wrong path, you could get stuck by getting hit by the spikes and then a flame trap following that. That is almost enough to take you from full health to 0 instantly. So if you don't want to risk that, I would recommend following this path here. This will get you through safely without any damage taken. And of course, using a Zephyr Boots or a Force of Wind Trinket will help immensely. However, you can see me do it with no speed boosting items whatsoever. This final part is probably the easiest part if you've got some good timing skills. Just step into the gaps for the most part, and at the end, just time a walk so you pass between the 2 sets of blades simultaneously. Once you get through, loot your gold coins, collect your treasure, and pull that final lever to get you back to freedom. If you've stuck around this long, here is a quick tip for chamber room number 1. With the pressure plates, only the first pressure plate needs to be activated, meaning you can step on it. Hop on the first pressure plate and then hop on a hoverboard and fly over all the other pressure plates and release the lever. That way you don't need to memorize the puzzle. We are on version 0.21.29, so this may change in the future, but it's always fun to do for now. That's it for today's video, and if it helped, return the favor and hit that like button for me. Otherwise, I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.